Right, there'll be a lot of backs against the wall after this show. So, 2 years ago, early this month, we outed a major expose that had barely been covered within the mainstream media. In fact, they hadn't. And the alt media, not too much either. That was 2 years ago. And that expose was about NXIVM. And it was not until the following February before it became a national topic, and yesterday brought some justice to that matter. US heiress Claire Bronfman has been sentenced to 6 years and 9 months in prison for her role in the NXIVM sex trafficking group. Bronfman, who is heir to the Seagram liquor fortune and a benefactor of NXIVM leader Keith Raniere, pleaded guilty back in April 2019 to harbouring migrants for unpaid labour and services, and she also admitted to credit card fraud. Now, she was taken into custody to begin her jail term immediately after sentencing in Brooklyn, New York. But writing to the court last month, Bronfman said she never meant to hurt anyone. However, I have, and for this I'm deeply sorry. However, she said NXIVM had greatly changed my life for the better. Oh dear. And that she wouldn't denounce its leader, Raniere. Mind control, anyone? NXIVM started in 1998 as a self-help program. It said it worked with more than 16,000 people, and the trial that was held last year and the sentencing recently heard that NXIVM had operated like a cult. Now, prosecutors told the court that members formed a secret sorority of brainwashed slaves who are branded with Raniere's initials and forced to have sex with him. For those of you who don't remember, these women who had to join NXIVM had to take all their clothes off, and he had to take pictures of them, and then his initials was branded next to their genitals, and then he demanded sex, and these people went along with it. Some culpability there. Now, Bronfman was on NXIVM's executive board and gave Raniere tens of millions of dollars to run the group's intensive self-improvement classes, and she also paid for the group's lawyers when a lawsuit was filed against them. And counsel acting for Bronfman argued that she should be given a lenient sentence because she wasn't directly involved in the most serious allegations against NXIVM. However, prosecutors said she should be given a serious punishment because Raniere would not have been able to commit the crimes with which he was convicted were it not for powerful allies like Bronfman. Good stuff. JPMorgan have been found out this week, and they've agreed to pay $920 million in connection with schemes to defraud precious metals and US Treasury markets. JPMorgan Chase, a New York global-based banking and financial services firm, has entered into a resolution with the Department of Justice this week to resolve criminal charges related to two distinct schemes to defraud the people. The first involving tens of thousands of episodes of unlawful trading in the markets for precious metals futures contracts, and the second involving thousands of episodes of unlawful trading in the markets for US Treasury futures contracts and the secondary cash market for US Treasury notes and bonds. One has to ask here, why Mr. Mnuchin? was not brought into question, given the latter two were to do with the US Treasury. But there you go. Now, JPMorgan entered into a deferred prosecution agreement in connection with the criminal information that was filed today in the District of Connecticut, charging the company with 2 counts of wire fraud. And under the terms of the DPA, JPMorgan will pay over $920 million in criminal monetary penalty, criminal disgorgement, and victim compensation, with the criminal monetary penalty credited against payments made to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission under a separate agreement with the CFTC that was being announced yesterday, and with part of the criminal disgorgements credited against payments made to the Securities Exchange Commission under a separate agreement with the SEC that was also announced yesterday. Now, over the 8 years, traders on JPMorgan's precious metals and US Treasury desks engaged in separate schemes to defraud other market participants that involve thousands of instances of unlawful trading meant to enhance profits and avoid losses, according to the Acting Assistant Attorney General Brian C. Rabbit of the Justice Department's Criminal Division. And he said today's resolution, which includes a significant criminal monetary penalty and compensation for victims and requires JPMorgan to disgorge its unlawful gains, reflects the nature and seriousness of the bank's offences and represents a milestone in the department's ongoing efforts to ensure the integrity of public markets critical to our financial system. A research and development lab of the Chinese tech giant Huawei Technologies in the southern city of Dongguan has caught fire. Well, I never. Producing large clouds of thick grey smoke the other day, and some of the locals caught the incident on camera before it was shut down. Now, the videos show plumes of smoke coming from the building's top floors and largely obscuring the sky above the facility. And according to the local fire department, the flammable sound-absorbing cotton which the facility was using may be the main source of the blaze. Coincidence? I think not. I received a message last week that said, I thought you might find this interesting. And the person wrote, my dad has found thousands of unopened ballots at a garbage dump in Petaluma in California, north of San Francisco. Interesting story. And the piece we put out about 2 months ago now will make a lot more sense now. The piece we put out about 2 months ago, and the reason they are unopened is the result is on the outside of the envelope with a barcode. Oops. This is cheating on a massive scale. And Trump needs to cancel the election now and fix this country before any ridiculous election unfolds. It's not going to be fair. It never has been fair in history. It's just worse now. With all the conditions ongoing, how can you possibly have a fair election? It's just beyond all imagination. Cancel it. Neither politician is fit to run this country, in my opinion. and clearly in the trustees' opinion this week as well. That's a massive change. We're off to the UK, and fairly disturbing report coming out of undercover informants working for the police and MI5, the latter of which runs the BBC and Sky and the UK government, are going to be explicitly permitted for the first time under British law to commit crimes. Yes, you heard that correct. The unprecedented legislation to authorise and oversee crimes comes after years of unclear rules over when these agents can break the law. The law will not specify exactly which crimes can be committed. Plausible deniability again, but like vaccine companies. And critics are urging MPs to amend the proposed law to rule out murder and serious violence. Now, the highly unusual decision to create a law that sanctions crime comes after a legal battle to force MI5 and the government to reveal secret rules governing when an informant can break the law. Informants, also known as agents, are recruited to gather intelligence on targets including terrorist organisations, major drug gangs and child abuse networks, and also radio show hosts. Just saying. Now, these agents are often already involved in the networks being targeted and need to maintain a cover in order to gather critical evidence for the investigators. And under the legislation going before Parliament today, MI5, the police, the National Crime Agency and other agencies that use informants or undercover agents will be able to explicitly authorise them to commit a specific crime as part of an operation. Now, the law will require MI5 officers and others to show the crime is necessary and proportionate. Yeah. All under Jewish law. I don't think that is going to apply, I'm sorry. While the Security Services watchdog, a senior judge, will report on how the power is used, and there will be no role for the Crown Prosecution Service in reviewing the crimes. Oh dear. So there's no oversight again. So which agencies will be able to authorise secret crimes? The early ones you will expect, the later ones will aghast you. MI5 and other intelligence bodies, police forces and the National Crime Agency, immigration and border officers, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs agents, Serious Fraud Office, UK Military Forces, Ministry of Justice, Competition and Markets Authority, the Environment Agency, Financial Conduct Authority, the Food Agency Standards. The Food Standards Agency are allowed to commit crimes. The Gambling Commission and Medicines and Healthcare Regulation Authorities as well. That does not augur well. MI5 and intelligence plus occasionally the police maybe. But what does the rest of them included in that report require that level of authority for? Is the big question. This week in America, a number of police departments around the United States have reported that their 9/11 services are down. A widespread outage believed to be linked to a glitch in Microsoft cloud computing platform Azure. I guess Gates is too busy killing people to fix that. And police and sheriff's departments in at least Minnesota, Arizona, California, Nevada, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. I wonder which state Pennsylvania's in. Hello to the Walmart assistant who said that to me. Have noted issues with their emergency call systems on Monday, directing residents to use alternative numbers while they work to correct the issue. And it was allegedly caused by a technical failure in Microsoft's Azure cloud. But no official explanation has yet been offered for the outages in any of the affected locations. Now, there was a report put out in Minneapolis, and the police, fire and emergency gave an alternative number and said, we will advise you when this is fixed. To me, it sounds like they are testing something. The key is, testing for what? Next, the top-ranked Democrat, the unspeaking Speaker of the House, has called President Donald Trump's alleged tax avoidance a question of national security. Oh my, that word again. Pelosi asked whether Mr. Trump owed money to foreign interests following an article on his financial records by the New York Times, and it alleges Mr. Trump only paid $750 in federal income tax in both 2016 and 2017. But Trump called the report fake news. Now, speaking on NBC, or trying to speak on NBC, Pelosi said the report showed that this president appears to have over $400 million in debt. To whom, she said, different countries. What is the leverage they have, she asked, adding, so for me, this is a national security question. The fact that you could have a sitting president who owes hundreds of millions of dollars that he's personally guaranteed to lenders, and we don't know who these lenders are, she said, and suggested that Mr. Trump may be indebted to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Oh, the Russian collusion comes up again. Despite a report today that Hillary Clinton made that all up to cover up her own Russian collusion. There you go. Now, the lenders were Rothschilds, Pelosi. They bailed him out 4 of the 6 times he declared fake bankruptcy. But tax details are national security. Oh dear. Fine, Pelosi. If they are, then you and every other politician won't mind showing all your bank accounts to the general public, because I think we would then have a real national security issue if they were all revealed.